I think it's been, next month it'll be 7 years I've been sober. I haven't had any drinking or drugs. Well, the point of this is that when I decided to get sober, I was a mess mentally. I every day thought I was going to die. Thought I was going to have a heart attack. I had a couple of buddies die from different things, and I just felt like it was my turn. And I thought I had to think about everything that came across my head. I just thought I had to figure out how to solve it until it went away. And then we started talking about, I started listening to Andrew, and he started talking about, persuading your heart. So every time that I'd get the thought, it said, take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ, I'd say, God's not given me a spirit of fear, power, love, and a sound mind. And I kept saying those things. I'm not going to die. I'm going to live to be 100. Jesus wants me to be prosperous. I'm going to be physically and emotionally healthy. And I would say that sometimes, I think, over 100 times a day, because that's how many times I'd think that I was going to die or I wanted to die. I mean, it was bad because I had numbed myself with alcohol, so I didn't have to think like that for most of, from my teenage years until I was 27. So it wasn't that I was persuading God with what I was saying about I'm going to live long. It was persuading my heart that God had this plan for me. And I think it took about 6 months of that many times a day before I stopped having those thoughts, because I'd catch them. And then I'd catch myself thinking about them for an hour, and then I'd stop it. No. Pretty soon it would last 30 seconds I'd think about them. Pretty soon I'd get them 1 second. I said, no, that's not true. And I'd repeat the scriptures and that God wants me to live and be prosperous. And to the point that it was completely gone the next year. And then I started doing that with money. And now, I make a lot of money, so I don't even think about money hardly anymore. I mean, sometimes, but most of the time I just say, no, God wants me to be prosperous. He wants me to use this money to sow into whatever. And it's not because I persuaded God, it's because I persuaded myself of those things. And people, I have friends now that are suicidal, and I'm trying to get them to understand that you can make yourself believe something different than what you think. You don't have to think about every stupid thing that comes across your head, because when you do, you will be suicidal. If I thought about everything that's happened in my life that's wrong, you will be. And you don't ignore it, but you say what God says. You make your heart believe that, and it's different.
Good word. Come on now.